So
Oh,
you after you have this match at Madison Square Garden, believe it or not, you're off to Yokohama, Japan to work for the War promotion on September 15th. You're going to be here working for Tenryu, and you're going to be working on top against him
mhm.
in front of 12,000 fans. It's a 2 out of 3 falls match. What do you remember of this trip? A, working for the WAR promotion, and then
Well,
this.
I went with Taker, right?
I don't recall
I'm pretty sure I did. No, anyway, it was great. Yeah, I went with Taker and somebody else.
the uh, the environment in Japan, working with Tenryu. Any stories about either of those you can share with us?
Oh, just God, I loved working with Tanner. He was great, and we trained him in Charlotte in '76.
Oh wow, so you had history
Yeah,
with.
yeah. See, Tenru and Fujinami both came and trained in Charlotte in the '70s,
Mhm.
so I knew them both real well. And while they were visiting Charlotte, I made sure they had friends.
I love you for that. I know exactly. I'm
You
picking
can't
up.
be a man. You
Yeah.
can't be a lonely man in a lonely town
No,
without friends.
belly warmer. I get it.
That's
Uh,
how I met Muda. They said introduce Muda to Atlanta. I said hell yeah.
my gosh. While you're on this European tour, I want to mention 2 shows in particular. You're gonna work main events in Kiel, Germany, and then again in Birmingham, England against Bret Hart.
Yes.
In Kiel, you guys go 34 minutes and 33 seconds.
Mhm.
In Birmingham, you guys go 25 minutes and 16 seconds. And
Yep.
Meltzer would write that the 35-minute match, the one in Germany, he heard was a 4.5 star match. And a lot of people believe that Bret was so over in the UK and Germany and just all of Europe. And that match was so good that maybe that's what swung Vince's decision in his favor. What do you
I
remember?
don't think Brett and I ever had a bad match.
Yeah,
So, I mean, Brett was shit, obviously, was good. I mean, working with Brett and Randy over in Europe was phenomenal.
yeah.
Over there, I think I was probably a bigger card there than I was in the States for the WWE. Because basically, I don't even know about it had anything to do with me. They just sold out. WWE was hot,
Right.
as they are right now. Or anytime they go back to Europe now, it's sold out.
That's always been interesting to me. It feels like when the American market is soft, like
Mhm.
years ago when it felt like TNA for whatever reason just couldn't freaking give away tickets. Whenever they would go run across the pond, boy, fans were rabid for them. Why do you think that is?
Because it's a phenomenal. It's the greatest show on the road, I think.
Yeah.
It used to be Byron and Bailey, but man, it's been the WWE for 30 years. I
Well,
mean,
let's
when
talk.
Hulk was champion in the 80s, they sold out every night. And when Steve was there, and when The Rock was there, Hunter was Taker and Sean, they sold out every night. And I think the thing that made a big difference too was to go from Hulk wrestling, 5 minutes which was the way they wanted it. He wasn't doing anything anything more or less than they wanted, and after a while, because a Hulk could pull that off, the Warrior could for a while, but not nearly to the level that Hulk did. But
Mhm.
then all of a sudden, they started looking at the comparison and saw that we were wrestling long matches in the main event, and it was a more competitive main event. And so they started doing that, and I think that's where Brett came right in. And he and Sean, and I know when Sean was champion, they said he was wrestling 30-minute matches every night. And to be honest with you, people didn't like that from me and when I first got up there, but I said, Pat, I can't wrestle 5 minutes. I can't even get warmed up in a 5-minute match.
Right.
So I hope that if I had anything if I provided any type of a difference, it was that I would argue with Pat about the length of the match and saying that I thought the fans deserved more from me, a guy my size. I wasn't the overpowering 300-pound guy built like a Greek god, like Hulk or the Warrior or Luger or a lot of those guys. But um, I think that I just I think it was just a great time and a great opportunity for Brett, and he took the opportunity. He took his ball and ran with it.
Yes, he did. He had great matches with you in the main event in Germany again on October 2nd and 3rd. And then you guys come back to the States. You're going to wrestle again in Los Angeles in the main event against Brett
Yep.
in front of 7,300 folks. That happens on October 10th. But boy, something bad happens on October 8th.